I think this phone is so beautiful that it still looks good even with a case on. But I'm going to get rid of it for the sake of this video, because that's what we're going to be doing in this video. We're going to be peeling off that first Chinese layer of skin to see what's underneath it for us global users. That's one resistive phone case. All right, there it goes. Now, as I said, we're going to be taking a look at the latest ColorOS to see how compatible it is now with global users in an attempt to help you guys make a better informed decision. So I've already set up my phone, transferred all my data, and enabled Google services for myself. The setup process is fairly simple and intuitive. There's really no need for an explanation. You'll figure it out once you turn it on. It'll ask you what phone you have, and it'll literally help you get the app that's required for it, and then you'll just be able to transfer all your data to your new phone. I did point out in my initial hands-on video that this phone is now more global friendly than ever, and we're going to be trying to see how far that stretches out. So the first thing you're going to want to do, if it doesn't do it automatically for you, is to enable Google services. It's right here under System and Update. It says Google Settings. You're going to want to turn this on, and then from here, you can log into your Google account. Next, you want to open Oppo's App Market, and then you want to look up Google Play. It'll give you this thing right here. It says it in Chinese. That's what you want to get. So you're going to have to enable it, update it, essentially. I've already done that. That's why it says open. And once you do it, you'll get your Play Store right here, as you can see. And then everything else from here on out is pretty straightforward, obviously. And of course, from Google Play settings, you can always go to Settings, About, and update Play Store to make sure your Google Play Store is up to date, which it is in this case. And that's literally all you have to do to get basic Google functionality. In terms of languages, here is the list of the languages that are supported. It's quite an extended one, actually. As you can see, there's a lot of languages here. And then for your typing language, that is your keyboard, you can of course get any third-party keyboard app that you like. In my case, it's Gboard. And then you can disable the built-in keyboards. You can't completely get rid of them, but you can disable them, and that's literally the end of all interruptions from them. And then you can of course set your current keyboard from here, which is Gboard in my case. And then you can disable secure keyboard for passwords, because this one's going to be enabled by default. If you don't want it, you can get rid of it. All good. Now, to get Android Auto, yes, you heard me correctly, there is Android Auto here. All you have to do is to look up Android Auto on the Play Store. Even Android Auto is going to be installed by default. It's just going to be disabled, so you're going to have to update it from the Play Store, which I already have. And then to access it, essentially, you're going to have to go to Settings, Device Connect, to right where it says Smart Cars. And then here is where it says Android Auto. And of course, you can just get in there and connect your vehicle. There's some crazy cross-device functionality going on with the newest ColorOS right here. You can even connect your iPhone now to share incoming calls, messages, and notifications, as it says. Now, personally, I haven't tried this one out yet because I don't believe in iPhones, but it's something that you can do if you're interested. There's also the new Oppo Share, which is essentially an alternative to Quick Share, because Quick Share is still not available on Chinese ROMs, unfortunately. But I would still say that Oppo Share is quite practical as well. So when you're sharing a picture or whatever, this is where it says Oppo Share. You're going to tap this, and then right underneath it, it says Oppo, OnePlus, Realme, Apple, even Apple, right? And then Vivo. So there is a share with iPhone feature as well now. But in terms of other Android devices, since there is no Quick Share, you can tap Oppo Share, and then, like, for instance, on my Vivo phone, I can just enable Vivo Share without the need for a third-party app. And then once I turn on Vivo Share on my Vivo, my phone will be visible right here, and I can just tap on it, which is quite convenient, really. You do get support for Microsoft's link to Windows to share your screen onto your computer or share a clipboard and things like that, but you also get Oppo's own Oppo Connect from right here. That's also a very useful feature. It allows you to share files as well at a high speed with your computer. So there's that. As for Circle to Search, I have it right here on my sidebar. It's Me CTS. I've already introduced this app to you guys in my earlier videos. So you can just tap on it to get Circle to Search. And then what else you can do is that you can dedicate your volume rockers to it through an app like Button Mapper, or you can create gestures for it on either side of your screen through another app like Edge Gestures, which is a paid app, and I've already talked about it before, so I'm not going to do that again. However, what's really interesting is that I really haven't felt the need for Circle to Search anymore on this phone. I'll tell you why. So, for instance, I'm on this screen and I want to translate something. I can just hold my shortcut button right here and use Oppo's own screen translate feature, which is very useful. You can do it full screen or partially. So when you do it full screen, this is what happens. You can still use your phone, so it's kind of like a scrolling circle to search. It happens instantaneously. That's for translation. And in terms of circling and searching, I can just hold my navigation bar to access Oppo's own alternative to circle to search, which is actually more useful. So you do get translate here as well. You get extract text, and then you can of course just do this exactly like on circle to search, or I can tap this to do a literal circle to search, and then I can of course share that or copy or save it or do other things, ask the AI about it, which is not very useful, to be honest, if you don't speak Mandarin. But you do understand what I'm getting at right here, right? So I honestly, even though I've had this circle to search right here, I really haven't used it. Maybe like a couple times only just to try it out. But Oppo's own is working perfectly fine. So that's progress. If, however, you still insist on using Google's circle to search, then don't forget to do the usual. So that's to do the permission and battery settings and everything for the Google app, first of all. So you're going to have to give it these permissions where it says other permissions and then special app access. You're going to have to enable almost all of these. And then what's even more important than that is to enable background usability from right here, allow background activity. And then you do the same thing for Me CTS. And then the most important thing of them all is to open Gemini and then go to settings. Go to digital assistance from Google where it says Android default digital assist app. You need this because you can't really access this setting, even though this is a phone feature. This isn't from Google, but for some reason it's hidden. So even if you search it in settings, you can't find it for some reason. So you come here and then you basically you do this. You set it to Google. It's going to be on either none or Brino or something by default. You're going to have to switch to Google. Now, one downside to this whole thing is after every reboot, you're going to have to do this again. Only this part, not the permission and background activity and all that. But this part you're going to have to do after every reboot. So to show you again what it is exactly that you're going to have to do after every reboot, you're going to have to, here's Gemini right here. You open Gemini, go to settings, and then digital assistance from Google, Android default digital assistant. Tap this, switch back to none, and then to Google again. This is what you have to do after every reboot. Otherwise, circle to search will not work. Now, another really important thing to do is, of course, to fix your late notifications. The process in general is fairly simple and quite similar to every other Chinese ROM out there. So you're going to go to app info for that specific app. And then, of course, you're going to give it battery usage access, background activity. And then, obviously, it goes without saying that you need to have allow notifications enabled. And then if you like these, you can enable banner notifications and lock screen notifications as well if you want it, or to hide or show notification details on lock screen. And then for the permissions part, same thing. You're going to scroll down, other permissions, special app access. You're going to have to give it these permissions. These are not really important if you don't want them. It's just that I want to be ready and give all the permissions that it might require. You do, however, need to give it access to your contacts, of course, if you want to see names and not phone numbers. And that's everything that you need to do for all of the apps that you need timely notifications for. Now, one final step, which is actually the most important, is to go to settings, go to apps, and then where it says auto launch. Because this auto launch is not included in the in app info for some reason. So you're going to have to do this separately. So you do everything I just explained for all the apps that you want notifications for. And then you need to enable auto launch from here as well for them. So I've done it for like Gboard, Gmail, Google, Instagram, Telegram, WhatsApp, and all that. You can do this for all the apps that you want. And then I don't recommend doing it for all of your apps, literally, unless you need them. And then there's also associated launch. You can go ahead and enable this for all of your apps, the ones that you need, of course, and whichever of them is available, just in case, just to be on the safe side. And then that's it. You should be getting all of your notifications in time. I've literally had 0 late notifications or any issues with my notifications, like messaging apps and all that, whatsoever, ever since I did this. Moving on to live alerts. I'm happy to inform you guys that we finally get YouTube Music support. There it is, like every other music player out there. Now, we already had like Spotify and Apple Music and all that, but for some reason not YouTube Music. We now get YouTube Music as well, and then there's beautiful animations to it, of course. It's ColorOS typical. And just to show you what it looks like to have several islands on, I'm going to set a timer, and then I'm going to start recording. This is what happens. So it doesn't show like bubbles next to them, but you can swipe between your islands. And then once you tap on them, tap on one of them, you can expand the island area, and you can get access to both of them at the same time. The animations apps are beautiful. And then I'm going to stop the timer and then stop the recording. That's just beautiful. Wow. And okay. All right. That's not bad at all. It transcribed me. Okay. I like that. That's not half bad. And it named the recording for me too. It's called Navigating Island Features with Seamless Swipes. All right. All right. I like that. All right. I have to say I did not see that coming. I've never tried this before. That was cool. Now that was a little bit of rather accurate AI in English that we just saw. Speaking of, so it's called Brino, the Oppo AI system. Part of it, as for the AI assistant, so when you do this, I'm not going to mess with this anymore. It looks cool and all, but it certainly is not responsive enough for you to use in English. It's the same as every other AI, Chinese AI that I've tried so far, so I'm not going to mess with it anymore. It definitely does mess up your commands, like when you ask it to set up a repetitive reminder or remind you to do things in general. So it's not ready for that yet in English. But then again, some parts of it is ready to use in English, including Brino Touch. That's the circle to search alternative. So I do believe they're putting some effort into it. It might definitely be usable in English someday. There's some other useful tools. There's the AI Translate, which is really cool. So like when you call someone, there's an extra button for it on the call screen. It says AI Call Assistant. When you tap on it, you get this translation assistant thing. It can do a live translation of the call without interfering with whatever either of the parties is saying. So that's a good one. Like you're not hearing anything. There's no AI voice or anything. There's just a transcription of whatever the other person is saying in their original language and in English, if that's your target language. Which is very accurate as far as I've tried it out. And then there's AI Voice Scribe, so I have a control center shortcut for it, so you can tap on this, you get a bunch of tools right here. There's AI Summary, in-app recording, or turn on captions. So this is essentially live subtitling, which is again really accurate actually as far as I've tried it out. This is another useful feature that you can use in English, of course. So yeah, as I said, they're definitely putting some effort into this. Still, the AI assistant is not ready, but some parts of it are ready, and they're actually very pleasant to work with. As for the shortcut button, unfortunately, it's not as functional as it is on the newest Vivo, the X300 Pro. But it's still good enough, at least for me, so I can dedicate it to the screen translate feature. I can do it for text, camera, conversation, live, or whatever. I can dedicate it to all these other features, but there's no app or activity or service option right here. So that's a restriction when you compare it to the Vivo. And then there's also no double tap alternative. So all you can do is tap and hold it. There's no other way to do to use the shortcut button. Now, moving on to a couple things about your home screen. So it's first of all, there's notification badges for all of your apps, including global ones. And to get them enabled, you just have to go to settings and then look up badge. And then you do get an option as well, so you can do it like just dots or numbers, number of notifications. All right, it's already on numbers, and you can go ahead and enable the badge for whatever app that you want. This is literally all of my apps and games. And then you can also customize the shape and the size of your icons. It's already been working with all of my apps. So for instance, if we were to grab a random app, say Gemini, let me just move it to the last page where there's enough space. I should be able to do that. Yeah, I am. That's nice. So you can enlarge it or like make it vertical or horizontal or just make it small again. You can do bulk customization, of course. So you can just move things around at the same time, obviously. Or like you can turn them into a folder all at once. They can be on separate pages too, by the way. You can go ahead and uninstall as many of these Chinese apps, or as you guys call them, bloatware, as you like. So you can just select them and then go back to the home screen and tap uninstall. That's literally all you got to do. There you go, the folder is gone. You can of course get a Google search bar, like a widget, on your home screen. And to get that, you have to go to widgets. It's a little difficult, this part, I agree. But you have to scroll all the way down. It's kind of hidden, and it says home screen widgets. You tap this, and here you are. There's all of your Android widgets, and Google is right here. Again, same as on any other Chinese ROM, when you swipe down on your home screen, by default, you're not going to get your control center. And to get it to do that, you're going to have to go to home screen settings, and then it says swipe down on home screen. It's going to be on global search by default. I do not like that, so I've already replaced it with notifications and quick settings. There's another area called quick glance that you can disable. It's right here. Personally, I use these. That's why I've left them. But you can go ahead and disable it entirely, as I just showed you. Or you can tap this bubble here, go to settings, customize layout, and then you can have to disable all of these right here. As for why I still have these, that's because these are widgets, so I can just hold them to remove them. I think that's all there is to it. Now, you're still going to be missing out on quick share, as I talked about it, but it's good that you have an alternative. You still will not have Google Timeline, which personally I've never used, so I don't really care for it. But if you do, it's something that you should know about. There's just one more tiny little thing to talk about. So if you've done everything and for some weird reason you're still not getting your notifications, you can go to battery settings, scroll down, power saving settings, to where it says sleep standby optimization. If you disable this, then there is literally 0 reasons for you to not be receiving your notifications in time. All right, I'll see you guys on the next one, which will probably be a performance and gaming review. Peace out.